Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Andrew Guy with AndrewGuySpeaks.com, reminding you that I'm impacting lives for better tomorrow. Welcome to part one of this training session. I believe that you're going to love it. Everyone, welcome. If you're in the house, just sit down. No matter where you are, you could be on your iPad, your iPhone, or wherever you are. I'm just glad that you're here to share this powerful session about how to balance work and life. There's so many people in the world right now who are successful externally, but internally they actually are dying. And so the training, I believe, is going to benefit you. And if you know of anybody else who you think this will benefit, just tell them about it. Get them to sign up, join the mailing list, so we can get you the link so you can come out and enjoy this free training, by the way. All right. So my goal for the 2016 is really to add more value. I'm always adding value to people, and I believe that's what it's all about. When you use your gifts to benefit others, you're actually adding more value. And when you add more value to people, then everyone becomes valuable. All right. And I say valuable because you have a value on you, and now you're now able to use your gifts to impact lives for a better tomorrow. So today's topic, we're talking about successfully, how to successfully balance your work and life. How do we do that? Okay. To begin our intro, let's just talk briefly about the pictures on the bottom. Well, to your left, you will notice a funnel, and it has the letter I there. And to your right, you will notice there is an optometrist or an eye doctor, and he's checking vision. And to your right of that picture, the one to all the way to the right, is the boat. And then you notice some seagulls, and you notice the waves, and you notice that it's a wonderful, bright, sunny day with clear blue skies. I'm going to briefly explain that before we get into this training. If you look to your far left, you will see that there are a bunch of little particles been put into this funnel. The little particles represent the amount of hats that you're going to have to wear as you work. So one day you could be a mommy or daddy, and then you are a supervisor or a foreman or a laborer or a policeman, whatever your actual job is or job function is. These represents the different functions and the different roles that you play. So that's why you're broken up, you're split up into many different particles so you can actually serve people. Now the I is actually you being split up, and you're going to be funneled back through this little funnel in order for you to come back as one. When you come out through the funnel, you're supposed to be a whole person, meaning you're going to go through this transition where you're going to break yourself up, you split yourself up every day to serve different people. At the end of the day, your gifts should allow you to come back together to make you a whole person. We have to divvy up ourselves so we can serve other people. But at the end of the day, the gifts that you have is what make you whole person. Number one, a whole person. I'm going to get into more details on that, but that's basically what I wanted to emphasize with the picture. Also, if you notice that the funnel basically is being fed into the globe, meaning that you broke yourself up into so many different roles just to feed people. And when you feed people successfully, when you feed them holistically, when you feed them wholeheartedly, you're feeding the world, because everyone that you fed basically is attached to someone else. So that's the reason why this particular image is so significant. Now, in order for you to be successful at doing that, you need to have a vision. That's the reason why the image in the middle has a vision of the actual optometrist checking someone's eye. You know, the Bible once said that without a vision, the people perish. It's not just a people. It could be an individual also. It could be a city, a state, a nation, and even the world itself. So without the vision, the right vision, basically, we will perish. Now, what does vision mean? Vision simply means you know where you're going. You don't even have to know what you're going there for. You got to know where you're going, because direction is the key. If you know where you're going, when you get there, you will know what you're supposed to have when you get there. However, I always believe that direction is more critical than knowing the what. The where in life is most important than the what, because when you get where you're supposed to go, it will make sense. A lot of time, if you know exactly what you're supposed to have, the end product, it may be bigger than you dream. And so therefore people will panic and say, well, I can't do that. I can't speak to 1,000 people. I can't travel around the world. I can't swim that distance. That's the end product. And most people become fearful when they see the end product. So therefore, that's the reason why you only need to have a good map. If you have a good map, a good vision, a good direction, then you just need tenacity and faith to get you to where you need to go. The picture on the right is a boat, and if you look, it's clear skies. It simply means there's balance. There's balance. The actual sails represents balance, and the birds represent the people that you will serve. When you serve people holistically, when you're coming from a place of purity, when you come in from a place of honesty, when you come in from a place of good-heartedness, where you want to serve people and make them better, add value to them, guess what? You see the wings on the birds, they're flying. You make them happy. You bring out the good part, the goodness in other people. And if you look at the waves, it's not always going to be even keel. There's going to be time in life where you're going to have some turbulence, but because you have balance, you're able to withstand the actual up and down or the variation or changes or challenges that life throws at you. So that's the explanation of the picture, and I want to get into the training. So I hope you are tuning in, ready to go. You have a pencil, paper, and you're just ready to take some notes, because this right now is for 2016. We're talking about rebuilding the total you. That's our goal, and I want to make sure that I take my time, I don't rush, and explain to you as much as I can, because a lot of people are looking at success the wrong way. And if you look at the word success, there's actually fully at the end. So if you break words down, you will see they will tell you exactly what they mean, because words are the substance of things. So we want to be success, not half, but success fully. And when you're fully successful, you're able to give people you're able to come out with your best game every time. You are basically able to function at your optimal best. Success fully. So that means you're success and you're full of it. You're completely, holistically, successfully at what you're doing. That's what we're looking for. And in order for you to be successfully at what you're doing, there must be balance. There must be balance. Balance, my friend, is the key to everything in life. All right, let's move forward and let's get ready to do this training. All right, this is Andrew Guy with AndrewGuySpeaks.com, reminding you that I'm impacting lives for better tomorrow. We are talking about balance, how to balance work and life successfully. It's a juggling act, and it's a dangerous one too if you don't know what you're doing. I think that success is it's an experience, really. It's not mythical, it's real. It's an experience, and anyone can have success. However, success is not just measured by the tangible things that you have, a car or a house, or the amount of friends that you have on Facebook, or the amount of followers you have on Twitter. It has little to do with that. Success really is an internal balance. So we are looking at success. I look at success personally as being personal first before it becomes public. Most people look for success outside of themselves. They look at what others are saying about them, how people greet them. But I think it begins with you. I think success is first inside of you. And if you are successful inside, then the internal force that you have, you can use that and capitalize on that to get you to wherever you need to go. I think that if people are resolved with themselves, then they will be resolved with other people. I think if people have a great self-image of themselves, then they will have a great self-image of other people. I think if people are satisfied and love themselves, then it's a start to loving people, because some people love themselves and just love themselves only. All right, but let's get back on topic. We're talking about the balance of work and life. Now, we know you have to work. Everyone has to work. I mean, it's biblical. They said if you don't work, then you don't deserve to eat. And that's fact. You know, some people decide to steal, but we won't go there. But work is important to everyone. Now, how do we balance work successfully where it benefits life? So let's look at it now. It's a relationship. It's a symbiotic relationship, meaning that one will affect the other, either in a positive way or in a negative way. Success is saying when one affects the other in a positive way and the outcomes are both positive, then that is success. The lack of success in one area will cause a negative effect in another area. So, what do I mean? If a person who is a workaholic has a family, let's say of three or two or even just one, and the work becomes more important than the family, even though there might be enough sustenance or resources to take care of the family, but work becomes the idol, then that's a person who may look successful on the outside, but they're far, more unsuccessful internally. These people is what I call have an internal turmoil that will continue to operate like an avalanche, and one day the bottom will fall out. So how do we even get a balance for that? One, you need to understand that work has a purpose. Work is not just a duty that you get up and do every day. Work has a purpose. Work, according to the late Miles E. Monroe from the Bahamas, he said that work is your ability really to activate, your internal genius. He didn't put it that way, but I'm saying that work allows you to work out your gifts, and it makes sense to work out your gifts. Your gifts are trapped on the inside of you, and if you're not working, they can't come out. They will remain dormant until you hit the grave, and then whatever is in you, I guess the maggots will break down and turn the trees into something green and give some oxygen off. But the point I'm trying to get here is that we all have this ability to impact lives. We all have this ability to give. We all have this ability to influence our area of expertise, our area of work, and our area of play, and even our area of where we pray. We have that ability. It's inside of us. It's like swim is trapped inside the fish. But if you don't put it in the water, then you can't get the swim out of the fish. It's trapped inside the fish, and therefore the fish will not function, and lack of function will cause the fish to die. So what we have to do is we have to work, because when we work, we put our gifts in the environment which will allow them to come out and be manifested. Now, we don't know, for example, how good of an athlete someone is, do we? No, we don't. But if you train that person and put them on the track and you watch and time them, you can tell, if they're gifted at what they're doing, or if they're good at what they're doing, or if this gift is being manifested. You can tell if a person knows how to drive if you don't put them in a car behind the wheel and say go for it. You can tell if a pilot is actually good at flying an aircraft if you don't put them behind the actual control and say go for it. You can tell if a person is a good parent if you don't put them in the position of parent 10 and says go for it. You can't tell. So whenever we work, we're actually working on our gifts. Now, the detriment to working is where the work becomes an idol, where in your gifts are not being used, but your gifts basically are being enslaved. And what do I mean by that? An enslaved gift basically is one that is used only for the good of self. A gift that has been released is one that is used to actually benefit self and those that are in the immediate environment. That's the utilization of a gift when you're using it the right way. Now, what about life? Life, as I've said before many times, it's not a thing. It's not an experience. It's really a gift. Life is a gift. Living is the experience that validates life. So if you're not living, then your life basically is simply just existing, not validated, and you're waiting to hit the grave and check out. So how do we balance all of this? when you work, there has to be a purpose for you working. We established before that working basically is working out your gifts so they can be manifested to better yourself and those around you. Now, when we use these gifts to benefit others around us, we should keep in mind that the gifts will not only make way for us, but it will also bring back a harvest which we will use to actually help or assist or to provide sustenance for our family. There are people who take work very seriously, and everyone should take work seriously. I'm not saying you shouldn't. However, when it becomes a detriment to your family, when it becomes a detriment to your relationships, when it becomes a detriment to your children, when it becomes a detriment to your coworker, then work is basically malfunction, and you need to do something about it. Um, can anyone be successful at balancing? Yes, you can. Balancing, as I've stated before, is an internal operation. When you are balanced on the inside, all of that is manifested externally. You will notice that your relationships change. You will notice that your relationship are enhanced for the better when you deal with people. Even people in your immediate circle, in your immediate family, they will notice it. Balance is something that has an equal. It doesn't always have to be one to one, but it has a ratio where one side doesn't benefit and the other suffers, meaning that you have what's called a symbiotic relationship, not one where there is a parasite or a parasitic relationship. A symbiotic relationship meaning that both people benefit. Your work benefit and your workplace benefit, by the way, and you benefit because you get to actually work out your gift, and the people who receive your service benefit, and also your family benefits because you are bringing in sustenance. That's balance. Now, when you have that balance, then everyone that's associated with you has what we call success. Now, we're going to switch gears to talking about the I. We're going to just focus on the I, and it's really about you. The first thing that we're going to talk about is, what is it that you want out of life? In order for you to understand this balance, you have to understand what you want out of life. There are many people who want things, and because they believe that things will satisfy them, they believe and they are convinced that things in life, the next car or the next 1,000 or the next million or even the next billion, or the next prestigious piece of property, that's going to be the it for them. As I said before, success is measured in myriads of ways. People look at success as what people or how people see them. People measure success by, how many checks they write per week, or how often they can take someone out to lunch, and just the external stuff. But as I said before, real success, true success, balanced success is what goes on the inside. It what goes on the inside. As we look at this funnel here, we look at the external part of the funnel. And you can't really see what's going on inside the funnel once the particles enter. Once the particles that's you've been split up enter the funnel, there's a process that happens. There is a psychological process that happens when you take on all these different roles. How well, or your ability to handle or maneuver doing these particular challenges or different roles, has a dramatic effect on what comes out on the bottom part or the tip of the funnel. Success requires you to have this balance, because when you have the right balance, when the particles go in, when you've been broken up to serve the people that you are around, or in your community, or in your job, or wherever, or whatever you do, then there's something that's taking place. It's like having friction. When you add friction to a particular material, or when two surfaces come together and rub, they generate heat. This heat now causes the other particles to separate further. So the heat that I'm talking about is the pressure that you're under. Now, how you handle the pressures determines how well put together the particles will come out. In other words, if you handle the pressure well, the particles will come out as one whole. If you do not handle the pressure well, then you will have particles coming out on the other side. So instead of coming out as a whole person together, you will be split up again, fragmented. We call this a state of discombobulation or a state of confusion. So you go in split up and you come out split up, and in the sense where that, okay, fine, what's going on? How is this helping me? The first question you ask yourself is, how is this going to help me? Because I had to split myself up to get all these things done, and now I've already split myself, but wait a minute, it didn't benefit me. Because at the end of the day, you are serving so many different people that you didn't get a chance to come back to put yourself back together. Now, let me put it together for you. After you've broken yourself up throughout your day to serve all these different individuals, you need what's called an I time. That's why the I is on there. The I time basically bring you back together. You have a state of settlement, a state of calm, where you take everything into perspective that you've gained and learned today and said, okay, great. Don't judge yourself if you didn't do well. Don't praise yourself if you do extremely well, but just a place of center where you say, no, I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to do what I did today. All right. Work on your breathing. Work on taking a deep breath, inhaling, calm yourself back down to bring your heart back down to a steady state so you can go home to the family that you're coming out to work for, because that's your main goal. You're going out there to work for the family, right? So you can take care of the family, right? And so that's the goal of it. Not to look great on the job. I mean, if you do great and you end up looking good, hurrah to you. More pats on the back. But the goal of this is to sustain and to maintain your family so the next generation can carry on what you have started. But if you haven't come back to a state of center after you finish broken yourself up into all these different pieces and roll, you will go back out fragmented just as you come in. That's a state of confusion. When you have a state of confusion, you have a state of what's called chaos. It's lack of homeostasis. You know, balance in the body means homeostasis. When there is balance in the internal environment of what's going on inside your body. Okay, that's what we're looking at. That's the key to this balance. And we're focusing on you. We're saying if you're going fragmented, you're going to come out fragmented because you didn't take the time to come back and say, hey, I'm thankful. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have served today. How do you do this now? Step one, before you get into your car, stop. Take 15 deep breaths and then relax. After you've done that, ask yourself 5 questions. How many lives did I change today? Did I impact a life today? What life did I impact today? What changes did I make today? And how did it affect me? And what else can I offer? And if there's anything, what can I change? All right? So you want to ask yourself those questions. And again, finish up by saying you're thankful for the opportunity. The opportunity to actually do what? To have serve. All right, so join us next time for part 2 when we're going to talk about vision. That's the picture that's in the middle of the first slide. Vision. How does vision help you to stay balanced? So this is Andrew Guy with AndrewGuySpeaks.com, reminding you that we are impacting lives for better tomorrow. Do check me out again for the next episode of Balancing Work and Life Successfully. Until then, work your work your gifts, but balance the gifts that make life worth living. Take care. Peace.